Well, thank you for watching Lunchtime News. We're joined by Paminas Karaoke, who is the chairman of Kikwetu SACCO, and we shall be discussing the SACCO movement and the rebuilding and empowerment of the youth. And welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, now to kick us off, from your experience, how would you describe the current landscape of the SACCO movement in Kenya and the role it continues to play in national development?
Thank you so much for having me. And in my contribution, maybe the SACCO movement has been the only solution to affordable finance and also flexible payment plans for the intended members. So for now, what I see in the SACCO movement, youths have been not well inspired to join, and therefore that is a gap for investors and those who would want to start a SACCO with an intention of interesting the youth with more interesting packages that can help them get excited to join into the saving culture. Just to state, it's only 5% of our GDP that is saved in terms of our savings in the country. That tells you there's a lot of gap that has not been captured. Yeah.
All right. Now, we've seen SACCOs evolve over the years.
Yes.
From traditional savings group to structured financial institutions, which I believe is what you're trying to do at Kikwetu.
Yes, yes.
Now, what key trends are shaping these evolution today?
There's quite a lot of things happening. Number one, people in the past have been saving only for conventional purchases, that is buying of land or buying of houses. But right now we have seen other upcoming markets, which are maybe the government bonds, there is money markets, there's shares and stocks. So this is also becoming attractive. And therefore it creates an opportunity for us to encourage people to save with an intention to invest, as opposed to just saving for consumption. Number two, we have also seen so many programs coming on board where people save even for their holidays. People save even for their school fees, for their children's school fees, or even for their own school fees if they are doing further studies. So that is what has been happening. But yesterday I was privileged to attend one of the events that we are launching some other blockchain that is going to help in a different sector. But one thing I realized, there is also a blockchain for SACCO. A SACCO that is running with blockchain. That means the future is also integrating the new financial terms, the new financial instruments, and therefore we will have a very interesting time in the future where people will not only be dealing with the past old way of running a SACCO, but having it more current with the changes in the world. And lastly is also the aspect. Initially, we have to register through a manual form, have a guarantor who has to sign for you before even getting admitted. Now we have seen digitization of SACCOs. Like what we are doing in Kikwetu, everything would be online. It's actually, we have an app which you can upload. You can be able to pay for your deposits every month. You can actually even get commissions by referring somebody, and when you refer them, that commission, you can redeem it to become a deposit or even a share capital. So there's a lot of things of digitization of SACCOs as opposed to old way where you have to fill a form, and when you're going to borrow a loan, you have to go to where the SACCO is located. Now we also have smart loans that you can get on the phone. So I think there's a lot of diversification and change in the way the SACCO movements are run. Yeah.
Okay, so when it comes to many Kenyans, especially the young people,
yes.
So when it comes to trust in financial institutions,
yes.
They struggle a little bit with that.
That's true.
What is, or rather, what can SACCOs do differently to rebuild the trust?
I think the first thing is to have systems that people can be easily able to monitor their savings. They can be able to even see how the trends of their dividends are getting are awarded, get to understand how they get the dividends calculated, get to know what is the interest on their deposits, how is it computed, is it fair according to the market analysis, but also more sort of education, because people perish for lack of knowledge. So whenever we give a lot of education, civic education, people can make informed decisions. And I think that is what has not been happening a lot. The fear that we have and many people have is the fear of the unknown because of the stories that we have had in the past. But currently we also have very serious SACCOs that have been there for many years, 60 years plus, but they have not had a scandal. Yet we don't have that also captured. So that means there is a lot of good things happening, but people don't know. So what happens is we intend to continue doing a lot of civic education, doing webinars. Now it's easy. You don't have to go for conferences in halls. You can do a webinar and you can reach out to Kenyans across board. So that is the opportunity that we see. Yes, there has been the doubt in the past, but also there is always a growth when something new comes in on board. And I think the transparency where you can easily access your money. Initially you had to go to the account officer and tell them, what is my balance? How much have I added in my dividends? This you are getting on your phone. You can even redeem your dividends if you don't want to invest them online. So that means it's going to make it easier. And just like the way the normal banks have been running now, getting to adapt technology, I think that is the opportunity that I see in the SACCO movement. And that will only be the only thing that will give people confidence as well. Yeah.
Now, speaking of the youth, they are earning differently,
yes,
spending differently,
yes,
and also thinking about wealth differently. So how can the SACCO sector speak to this new generation and meet them where they are?
I think that's actually the opportunity that I saw. That in the past, we will never be inspired to save. Because if I'm saving to own a house, and maybe I'm saving 5,000, when did I ever own a house? So initially, we have been going to the SACCOs to tell them what they can do to us. Maybe I want a loan to buy a house, I want a loan to buy a land, I want a loan maybe for school fees. Now, it is the vice versa. Like what we have done in Kikwetu, the system we have created is able to advise the members on the investment opportunities. Can you imagine if you have saved 100,000, then the SACCO system tells you, you have saved 100,000, you can actually redeem yourself by, you can borrow 3 times or 4 times and buy a government bond. And we have the president saying that we are going to mobilize 5 trillion to build infrastructure in this country. If that is going to be done, he's going to mobilize that money from the country, the locals. So what about how many people have enough money to buy those bonds and benefit for the 20 years, 30 years, or even 10 years bond that are going to be issued? So therefore, as we know, most youth want passive income. They don't want something that will be told it will appreciate in 20 years. They want something they can be getting passive income. And this is the opportunity that is there. A SACCO gives you dividends every year on your shares, on your share capital. Then it gives you interest on deposit every year. That means you have an income every year, but also you are getting your capacity to borrow more every year. Putting money in a bank, for me, I feel it's actually a liability. I may be misguided, but I think I am a very rational person. When money is in the bank, I cannot borrow more than what is in my bank. I cannot withdraw what is more than what is in my bank. And if I am to borrow, I have to get a collateral outside. But in a SACCO, the money I can give me 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, and sometimes even 10 times. And therefore, based on my ability to borrow, I can be able to access more capital than what I have saved. Yes.
So if these are the opportunities out there, what barriers prevent young people from joining or benefiting from SACCOs, and how can that be dismantled?
I think the biggest barrier was the fear of the unknown, and that is because of lack of information. Number 2 is the conventional way of doing business, where we had SACCOs were manually managed, and also most SACCOs were sector developed. Say, even here I know that you have Utangazaji SACCO, the other SACCOs across different sectors, the accountants, the lawyers have their own SACCO. But the truth is they also have a very big population who are not in those professions, and therefore they will feel left out. Number 2, even those SACCOs that are members, the SACCOs that are sector driven, maybe don't provide all the services that people are looking for. And therefore, alternative SACCOs bring in a very big transformation. Number 2 is the issue of technology again. As I said, we have been running on manual books. Now, I see it on an app, just like the way we have M-Pesa. You can access your money, you can access a loan, you can process a loan, you can do a quick loan based on how much the SACCO allows as a maximum. You can also, it also ensures that you can liquidate your money, because you can liquidate your money although within a period that is stipulated by law. But that also means, as you liquidate your money, you're getting this, you cannot handle this on your app or your web portal. So it doesn't need you to have a third party. And lastly, the biggest barrier has also been the issue of guarantors. If I don't have a guarantor, I cannot invest in something, because I have to have somebody sign for me. Now, we are creating products that you don't need to have a guarantor. You can be able to guarantee yourself with the collaterals that you are buying. If you're investing in government bonds, you can have the bond guarantee your loan until you complete paying that loan. And therefore, you can have more of the opportunities as opposed to what has just been there. Yeah.
So good governance and transparency remain core pillars of the SACCO movement.
That's true.
So what standards should every SACCO meet to ensure member safety and confidence?
I think the first thing is to ensure that those people sitting in the board are people of integrity. people who have no questionable character. Because if one has a questionable character in the past, we don't see any problem, any difference. The same will happen in the SACCO. Because you're being trusted with billions of money by Kenyans, and therefore you must be a person of great character who is beyond reproach. Therefore, that is number one. Number two, also professionalism. You need to have people who also have skills, not just having a title, and they cannot be able to audit the SACCO performance. They cannot be able to give advice even to they are called advisory board, but they don't have the skills to advise even the leaders of the SACCO. So I think having a strong board of advisory, having a strong management board, but also having a manageable staff. Because when we introduce technology, unfortunately it reduces some jobs, but again it increases efficiency. And therefore, corporate governance brings in a lot of difference. The other thing is most SACCOs, I don't want to quote any name here, but most of them don't even have a strategic plan. So they are working just because they are receiving money and they are giving loans. But a strategic plan helps the SACCO to adapt to new technology, adapt to new systems, adapt to new way of doing business, and therefore that is the opportunity I see in the SACCO. So when we are able to do all this, plus somebody can be able to do a background check of the directors. You know, if you go to our website, you can see who are the directors of the SACCO. You can be able to do your due diligence of them even before you invest. Therefore, with the technology in the e-citizen, you can just go online and see about everybody's history. And therefore, I think in the current generation, it's very easy to access information about the directors. And that is the only way we can also be able to get confidence that the people you are investing or saving your money with are people of character and have no questionable character in the past.
Okay.
Yeah.
As you anticipate the launch of Kikwetu SACCO tomorrow, perhaps what is the future you envision for the SACCO? And perhaps as you wind up, what advice would you give young Kenyans who feel financially excluded?
I think the first thing I would say, I would want to welcome those who will be able to be available for the launch tomorrow at United Kenya Club. So the reason we are launching this actually is actually more of civic education. It's not launching just a product, it's launching a movement. And my desire for this SACCO, and this is my hope, that one day we are going to not only finance individuals, but finance businesses. I know right now business cannot save directly to the SACCO, and I'm willing to go ahead and even propose to the members of parliament a proposal where a business can also be allowed to join us as a member in the SACCO, because you see a business is an independent person. So if they can be able to join, then the directors become the guarantors. That way, we are going to empower businesses in having capital. Because as they say, 85% of our businesses collapse at the second year. Because one of the major issues is lack of capital. So if you are able to mobilize capital through the SACCO, this is going to be a great movement, not only for Kenya, but even for Africa. Because you'll be able to get affordable credit and at a flexible payment plan, but also you don't need a lot of bureaucracies, because this is your own savings that is giving you this. So my advice to the Kenyans in conclusion, because of time, I want to tell them the best time to invest was 10 years ago. The best time to invest is now. Start when the retro you have. Like for us, we give you up to 5K, that is 200 shillings per day. So you can save 200 shillings per day. At the end of the month, you have more than 5,000. So that is the only way. So start now, because 10 years to come, you'll be saying, I'm happy I did it, or I wish I did it. Thank you for having me.
All right, well, that was Paminas Kariuki, the chairman of Kikwetu SACCO, helping us navigate the SACCO movement, rebuilding and empowering the youth. Well, let's take a short break. We'll be back with more news.